All right, good evening, everyone. I'll call this regularly scheduled meeting of Town Council to order. And as always, we're located in Mi'kma'ki, the unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And it is our privilege to be here. We do have, in addition to the agenda, under section 11, so 1111, which is under new business land negotiations. So with that, can I have a motion to approve the amended agenda, please? Councillor Bergier, seconded by Councillor Wynot. All those in favor? Motion is carried. And down to announcements, we've got a couple of proclamations, and these will be on the town's website and Facebook page. But September is Arthritis Awareness Month, affecting 6 million Canadians, people of all ages, and with a rate expected to rise to 9 million Canadians by 2040. So we will be declaring September 2026 as Arthritis Awareness Month in the town of Bridgewater. As well, September 13th is World Sepsis Day. Sepsis is a life-threatening medical emergency that can affect people of all ages and requires early recognition and treatment to improve the outcomes. And World Sepsis Day is observed annually on September 13th and raises awareness of the warning signs of sepsis. So that will be declared on September 13th. It's World Sepsis Day in the town of Bridgewater. And again, the proclamations will be on the town's website and social media pages. Other announcements from members of council? Councillor Newell?
Yeah, two things. The first, had the pleasure on Saturday to go to the Des Brisets Museum during Fiberfest. It was really great to see the museum, really active, a lot of people. So I think a huge thanks and appreciation goes out, to recreation, museum staff, friends of the Des Brisets, all the volunteers. It was really cool. It was great to see the museum with so much activity, kids activities going on the grass. It was a good time. And the other thing I think, sharing a congratulations to our neighbors in Modal. They did a successful launch at Miller Point Peace Park for the reopening of their Storybook Trail and their accessible kayak launch and some other upgrades they made at the park there, which is really nice. So encourage folks to go check that out.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to announce on behalf of the Bridgewater Area Chamber of Commerce, there's an event, a summer mixer on Thursday, August 20th. That's at the Best Western Plus. Outside in their garden space. So it's an opportunity to mix, mingle, and enjoy some light refreshments as you make new connections. So that's next Thursday from 4 to 6.
That's great. Others? Councillor Wynot?
Saturday, I will be speaking at the Brothers of the Highway event at the exhibition grounds on behalf of council, just welcoming everyone to town. And that's happening Saturday, 10:30 at the Social Exhibition Grounds. And also just the mayor had put out a post earlier today, just a reminder for people that are enjoying our parks this time of year to keep your dogs on leashes. We're starting to see an increase of unleashed dogs, which can certainly, I know, Mike, it certainly can, create some, nervous times around other dogs. So just a reminder to keep your dogs leashed when you're on the property.
Thank you. Today at lunch, our Economic Development Officer, Don Hatt, and I had the privilege of spending lunch with some youth entrepreneurs as part of the Ignite Atlantic Youth Startup Camp. So there's about around a dozen, maybe 10 youth working on ideas. So that camp runs all week. And then there was one last week in Lunenburg and next week in Chester. But listening to some of their ideas, like, oh my goodness, these kids are smart, like really good ideas. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but there was one particular one where I was like, I talked to Donna after when we got back and I said, I hope someone from Ignite is coming down to have a conversation with this individual about how to like immediately start this into a business. And maybe she was 12.
You have to be 13.
13, maybe 13. And anyway, this is like the quality of the brain power that is in our youth in this community is unbelievable. So that was really exciting. And thanks for Meza brought in lunch and then spoke to being an entrepreneur himself, the owner of the franchise here. So shared some of his time and some of his experience. So they had a lot of questions for him as well. So it was great. So hopefully they have a great week. Anything else? All right, hearing none, we have two time delegations, so I'm going to ask Michael Kennedy to come up and speak on behalf of Habitat for Humanity. So the podium is yours. I think you have a presentation, and
Yep.
so the clicker should work. It should be there. I'm going to bring that up on the screen, and we can all see it on our screens. And just a reminder, you have 10 minutes for your presentation. It doesn't include any questions for council, so that's over and above that.
Okay.
And a reminder as well to all our delegations is we don't make a decision the same night we receive the presentation, because it gives us time for questions that will inevitably come up as soon as you leave.
Right.
And it gives us time to email those out and get some answers and stuff.
Okay.
But the floor is yours.
Thank you. Oh, I think I broke it already. There we go. I don't think that's the PowerPoint though. I don't need the PowerPoint. I can just do my talk. Happy, and I think you've all received a copy of it anyway electronically. So there we go. No.
I think that's the
Yeah, that's a
document.
report by Deloitte. It talks about the impact of our homeownership program.
So I didn't see any PowerPoint. to
Yeah,
the
we only
packet.
have the three.
Yeah, I had the reports.
Okay. Perhaps it got lost. That's okay though, because I got my speech.
Perfect.
So, good evening, Mayor, councilors, and staff, and members of the community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Michael Kennedy, and I'm the Fund Development Manager at Habitat for Humanity, Nova Scotia. And I'm sure Habitat needs no introduction. We've been operating in Nova Scotia for 30 years. Habitat is the 7th most trusted brand in North America, and we've been doing lots of great work building homes for those who couldn't otherwise make the jump into affordable home ownership. Habitat's dedicated to moving Nova Scotians from surviving to thriving, and not just in the big city. Housing challenges face rural communities too, and these communities face unique barriers to affordable housing development. I'm here to ask for the town of Bridgewater's support for a new affordable home ownership project at 96 Pinecrest Boulevard. This is a single-family home on land already under Habitat's ownership, and it represents both an immediate opportunity for one Bridgewater area family and a practical pilot for a more scalable rural housing model across the province. Across Nova Scotia, including here on the South Shore, many households have stable incomes and the capacity to sustain home ownership, but face significant barriers to purchasing through the conventional market. Rising construction costs, limited rental supply, and a shortage of modestly priced homes have widened this housing gap, particularly in rural communities. Habitat's model is designed for these families. We remove key barriers to home ownership by providing no down payment, interest-free mortgages, with payments structured so that total housing costs do not exceed 30% of household income. This gives families the opportunity to purchase a safe, stable, and affordable home of their own. The request before council is targeted and practical. Habitat is seeking total municipal cash support of $25,000, either through the Affordable Housing Pre-Construction Grant or through a special capital contribution separate from the grant. We are also asking for assistance in expediting permits and for a designated municipal staff contact to help coordinate a timely review and approval process. The total estimated project cost is $392,000. Habitat Nova Scotia is contributing approximately $233,000 through our Fund for Humanity, and we will leverage additional support through corporate sponsorships, community donations, gifts in kind, and local partnerships. In other words, the town's contribution is not carrying the full project. It is helping unlock a much larger community investment. This project is also about innovation. Habitat has evolved how we deliver homes by working with a turnkey build partner. This approach gives us great cost certainty, shorter timelines, and a model that can be replicated across rural communities. The goal is to complete this project before winter and support occupancy by January 1st, 2027. Just as importantly, the affordability created through this project will not disappear after the first homeowner. Through Habitat Nova Scotia's buyback program, if the homeowner chooses to sell, the home must be sold back to Habitat. That allows us to preserve affordability and transfer the home to another qualifying family in the future. Public, private, and community investments stay in the affordable housing system for the long term, thanks to this buyback program, which is a new innovation that Habitat just brought in over the past 12 months. For Bridgewater, the benefits are concrete. This home will help a family remain in the community where they go to work, school, volunteer, and contribute. It supports workforce stability, it strengthens the local tax base, and it creates a pathway to ownership without creating an ongoing operating obligation for the town. And that report that was up, that we thought was my slides, that's a report by Deloitte Canada, which goes through the benefits of Habitat home ownership. They surveyed all of our homeowners across Canada. They looked at things like education outcomes, health outcomes, community involvement, financial well-being. Across the board, Habitat home ownership has a positive impact on the families that are living there, and it has a very positive impact on the communities that those families are living in. We recognize that this is a single home and that the town's affordable housing pre-construction grant policy is currently structured around a 4-unit minimum. But many early stage costs, such as design, engineering, permitting, surveying, and approvals, are fixed costs. They do not decrease simply because a project is small. For community-based affordable housing, these costs can be the difference between a project moving forward or stalling. That is why we are respectfully asking Council to either allow an exception so Habitat may access the affordable housing pre-construction grant for this project, or provide equivalent municipal support. We are also asking for permit-related support and a coordinated municipal point of contact so that this project can stay on schedule. Habitat Nova Scotia is ready to move from intention to action with this project. We have land secured, we have a delivery model selected, and a long-term affordability structure in place. With the town's support, we can deliver one affordable home in Bridgewater now and test a model that can help more families across the South Shore and rural Nova Scotia in the future. Thank you for your consideration, and we would welcome the opportunity to work with council and staff to make this project a reality for a Bridgewater family. Happy to take your questions.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Questions from members of council? Councilor Newell?
Naturally, homeownership comes with a lot more cost than just the mortgage. So I'm curious to just know more about your model of how families are selected to be able to, carry the burden of property taxes, insurance, maintenance, like all the other aspects that
Right.
homeownership.
So we do have quite a few eligibility criteria. You have to be making a certain amount of money to be able to afford the 30% and still be able to pay off the mortgage in 20 to 30 years. So depending on the local market, it could be anywhere from 50 to 90 minimum. In Halifax, in some of the bigger cities across Canada, it's upwards of 100,000 minimum, and that's still considered affordable. So it really depends on the local market, but we look at income, we look at whether you're working or not, we look at if you've had a bankruptcy. There's a variety of factors, and we also look at unique factors like, do you have kids who are in the same school zone as the home that we're building, because we're trying to keep kids more or less in the same kind of routine. So those are the big criteria. I'm happy to send you some more information about the specifics.
That'd be excellent. I have some other questions, but I think we can relay those through staff and learn more about the program that way. That'd be great.
Sure.
Other Councilor Wynne?
Your buyback program, you say, is fairly new. I think you said 12 months or so.
Yeah.
How do you determine if someone lives there for 15 years, sell it back to Habitat for Humanity? How would you determine what the value of that home is for the next possible family that would buy it?
Well, part of the rules are that we have to sell the home and buy it back at fair market value.
So whatever fair market is.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted clarity on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions from? This will be the third Habitat home in Bridgewater? Third?
I'll have to double check. I think it's been more than that.
Yeah, maybe. I know we had two since I've been on council. I've had two.
Oh, great.
And I know the last one every time I go by it, I remember being at the grand opening and just talking to the family and how much it impacted them and what a
Yeah.
change it would be. And
Mhm.
and then you drive by and you see like it's in great condition and they take care of it. And it speaks to the model that you're talking about. So
Absolutely. And one of the great things about the Habitat mortgage model is that in place of the down payment, our homeowners are expected to provide community service. So oftentimes our homeowners will get more involved in their community. They'll volunteer at community events and get more engaged in their neighborhood. And we also know that once you own a stake in your neighborhood, you're much more likely to get involved, take care of it, and take ownership of it.
yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
If there's no other questions, yeah, I know some of us have some, we're going to kind of gather those
Yeah.
and send those off. And
Yeah.
then this will come back to council, probably in September. Yeah.
Sure.
At our September meeting.
All right, we're
Great.
ready to build, but we're happy to wait if council needs some time. So the sooner the better.
Great.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next delegation is Karim George to give us an update on the Cedar Hollow project. So Karim, welcome.
Good evening, Council. CEO. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
So thanks so much for allowing me to come and share with you some sort of economy impact around Cedar Hollow. I think we are wrapping up this project now after one year of really hard work around this project. So we're just about to get finished and get started the second phase, which is the construction. Before we start, I know maybe some of you visited, some of you didn't visit. So I would like to invite you to watch this 1 minute and 48-second video.
Very precise.
So this picture, before we play, this picture is exactly May 2005. Exactly like a month and a few months ago. Sorry, 1 year and a few months ago.
Yeah, May 2025.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So this has happened all the summertime, getting the land work prep. And then winter time, we start putting all the infrastructure. This is the real work here. And this picture is just last month. And today we are in completely different shape, ready for the last step. Thank you. So just to go back to, I guess I'm gonna see it from here. I just want to share with you very simple. There is no request today or nothing. Just I want to share with you this economy impact numbers. So the project, as you can see, is just going to be 60 homes. We already finished the first 8, and we're waiting on the small items that to be wrapped up so we can start the construction for the home construction phase. Once this project is completed, will be $160,000 paid to the town of Bridgewater as a permit, one-time permit fees. one-time deed tax transfer fees. I think this is the province collected, but it go back to the town, right?
Yeah.
So it's around 405, and this is estimate 5% above or less. Like this is the estimate. This is the biggest part that we're very proud that we can achieve along with the town. That will provide minimum year over year $420,000 property tax income ongoing. So that's one of the biggest number that we're very happy to say. This is also one of the big things that we are very happy with it, that upon the completion, we will be spending $27 million in 2 years within the local economy. So 95% of our trades, contractors, subcontractors, you name it, are local from Bridgewater. This number is estimate. 110 maybe employees relied on this project between part-time and full-time. It's mixed. Some of the folks that who works with us, they are not on our payroll, but they work for the company all the time. And the most important part is bringing 60 new family moving from the town. So we started those 8 townhouses at the beginning of Cedar Hollow, and we were able to bring so far, I think 6 or 7 new families from outside of Bridgewater to the town of Bridgewater. So that's a very, very simple update, but also I just want to share with you a couple of items. In the past 3.5 years since In Touch Home started in Bridgewater, all of these numbers that you achieve, that you see, we already achieved it by 90%, because we built in the last 3.5 years 48 homes. So we brought to the town of Bridgewater same numbers, but maybe less 10%. 48 families, maybe $22 million in local economy, probably $325,000 property tax ongoing. So that's part of what we did in the past. The success that we had, and hopefully we continue this success, is relied on 100% of the local trade and sub-trades and contractors that they are from Bridgewater, and they will continue on this project. Also, big part of that success is the development department here in the town of Bridgewater to keep up with our day-to-day requests for permitting and, footing permit and all of this. Not that, but so far Nick is able to keep up with our speed. And just want to let you know, I'm sure all of you aware that development business is just a business running on 100% relationship with the town or the municipality. I'm not talking about In Touch Homes or town of Bridgewater. I'm talking in general. So it's a unique business. We are, with all respect, we are a little bit different. Our day-to-day operation is rely on a day-to-day communications and work with the town staff, and to make sure that we are, applying, make sure that all the policy in place and all of this kind of stuff. So it's a very rough business. I'm telling you, it's a very rough business. It's just, I'm just want to let you know that we can't really function without having strong, good communication with the town. That's municipality. That's for any other development. So I just want to share with you this. I don't really have any other comment. I just want to share with you this as we're going to new phases. I don't really like to be here. I'd like to be on site. I hope this is my last time to be here. I'm working toward this, but I am open for any questions.
it's an exciting project. What's your anticipated move-in date for your first family?
For the townhouses or for the, like, are you talking about
For
for the actual houses?
yeah.
I will defer this question to the CEO.
When are they moving in? No, just kidding. I just thought I was wondering if you had a ballpark.
No, good. No.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it. There is a lot of process.
Yeah. Well, it's a big project.
For there is a lot of admin process, and I don't want to get into the details. To be honest with you, I just want to have fun with this, but a lot of process, and also subdivision approvals and councillor approval and takeover and reports, and our engineering consultant, they have to submit the report that we did everything by code and all of this kind of stuff. We are paying interest on this project every 30 seconds. So for us, we would love that we could have an opportunity to start homes construction before the street is over. But for obviously a few different reasons, I'm also prefer to check with the CEO afterwards.
No, I was just curious. I know that it's a huge project and looks great.
Yeah.
The families that you're welcoming to town, do you have any idea where they're coming from? Are they coming from the local area, or are they coming from other provinces?
Sure. No. So far in 2022 and 2023 and a little bit of 2024, 50% of the people who move in, they were outside of Nova Scotia. It's not happening anymore. So those people coming from either outside of Bridgewater or a little bit further, like Halifax, nurses, Michelin staff, or former Michelin employees. But we found that there is a lot of people that from the senior community, that they like the one level, nice backyard, small front yard, less maintenance. So that's more appealing. But so far, it's just people selling their big homes outside of the Bridgewater area and just downsizing. They want to be closer to the hospital and all of this kind of stuff.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
That's why not.
I know we're going through some administrative processes right now. Once that's settled, how soon are you ready to get started on that next
I'm ready
phase?
to start 4 months ago.
Oh, so you're ready to, okay, no, just,
Yeah.
thank you.
And it takes for me 3 months to build homes.
Okay.
So we could have houses now ready, but again, that stopped. We couldn't proceed, and
Other questions? Okay. Thank you.
okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're down to, are there any other delegations that wish to speak? Oh, Frank, I don't know if you're here just to visit us, or did you want to address council on the matter?
Well, on that argument, the only question I would ask is the infrastructure there, sewer and water already?
Yes, for this project? Yeah, in terms of the capacity, we have the capacity for,
The
that.
development involves the construction of water, sewer, roads, sidewalks, and the infrastructure in terms of wastewater treatment plant capacity is there to service it.
I forgot to mention one thing. It's a little bit technical, but it's really cool. In this project, we tried a brand new technology. Matthew can explain better than I do. Brand new technology for stormwater management. We placed, I can't remember exactly how big, like storm chambers somewhere in the area behind the townhouses, so that can absorb those water. So it's a brand new technology, and it cost us probably closer to $500,000. Yeah,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
that was approved by the town engineer.
That's great. Thank you. If there's no other delegations to speak to council, we will move to our public hearing. So I will we will pause the council meeting and I will call the public hearing to order. And I'll just note that all statutory requirements have been met. And so this is going to be second and final reading on rezoning of 130 Dominion Street.
Please excuse the title there. It is the second and final reading. Apologies about that. Good evening, Mayor and councilors. I'm here this evening to present the application for the concurrent redesignation and rezoning of the from the 2-unit residential R2 zone to the medium density residential R5 zone for the property of 130 Dominion Street. To begin, is staff's recommendation that council give second and final consideration of the proposed map amendments and for the property at 130 Dominion. To begin, an application was received on April 8th, 2026. The applicant is seeking to construct a 4th dwelling unit on the property in conjunction with the existing 3-unit residential building at the subject property. The 4th unit is being proposed as a backyard accessory suite in a detached accessory building. The proposed addition of a 4th dwelling unit requires the concurrent map amendments to both the MPS, the municipal planning strategy, and our land use bylaw to facilitate the redesignation and rezoning. This is a map of the area, and the property is circled and designated in red there. The subject property sits at the corner of Dominion and Hillcrest Streets in an area primarily designated low density residential. The surrounding area contains an institutional use, being the Bridgewater United Church, and 2 open space areas, being the Bridgewater Curling Club and the Bridgewater Memorial Arena, just in the top left corner there, to the top of your screen. Further, the property is located a 7-minute walk from Gateway Plaza and 8-minute walk from King Street. This is a view from Dominion Street. Seen here, the subject property features 2 driveways on the left-hand side of the image, with a double wide driveway and a single wide driveway on the right, providing access to the property from Dominion Street. The property is a corner lot, so this is a view from Hillcrest Street as well. On our future land use map in the municipal planning strategy, the property is currently located in the low density residential designation. The medium density designation being sought is intended to enable compact and more affordable housing options to meet the diverse needs of citizens in the area. The designation allows for a maximum of 4 units as of right, while allowing higher densities through development agreement. The permissions of the medium density residential zone include single unit, 2-unit, and multi-unit residential dwellings to a maximum of 4 units. Additionally, residential conversions to a maximum of 5 units are permitted in dwellings established before August 27th, 1975. The municipal planning strategy contains a list of planning objectives that help guide the policies and regulations of the town in our planning documents. Of those 15 objectives, this application directly addresses and supports 3. Firstly, the controlling of land use and development to minimize conflicts between land uses, encouraging compact development to maximize town shared infrastructure and promote close-knit neighborhoods, and finally, enable the development of a full range of housing options to allow people to live out their full lives in Bridgewater. As part of the policy analysis, the policies of the MPS were analyzed for the planning analysis report. With regard to policy R2, the proposed amendment provides incremental increases in density for a corner lot on a collector street. The incremental density is unexpected to result in any conflicts between land uses in the area. With regard to policy R3, the application proposal supports the policy through proposed rear yard accessory suite, providing a wider range of housing options in the town. The proposed amendment was requested in order to provide infill development in line with policy R10. The additional unit proposed on the subject property would make more efficient use of municipal infrastructure servicing the site while providing compatible development with the surrounding neighborhood as the accessory structure will be required to conform to all regulations of the surrounding area with regard to accessory structures. The application and proposal adhere to the general development policies, including those for parking and standards for accessory structures. The property already contains sufficient parking for the proposed additional unit and would need to, as mentioned, adhere to the regulations surrounding accessory structures, primarily being the maximum height being 21 feet in height and a max gross floor area of 10% of the subject property's lot. So this is just a brief zone comparison between the existing and the proposed zoning. The subject property's current R2 zone allows for up to 2 dwelling units as of right. The existing structure comprised of 3 dwelling units was allowed under a residential conversions allowance in the land use bylaw, which permits an additional unit for those structures built prior to 1975. The proposed R5 zone would allow multi-unit dwellings to a maximum of 4 units, with the permission for a 5th unit through the same residential conversion allowance. The zoning standards for both the R2 and R5 zones retain a 10-meter height maximum, while the front yard setback for the R5 zone being sought is twice as restrictive, requiring a 6-meter setback from the property's frontage. Side yard setbacks similarly are extended to 4 meters or half the height of the building. The subject property conforms to the zone standards for the sought medium density R5 zone. With regard to IM6 comments from the engineering department, there were no highlighted concerns with the proposal. Wastewater capacity is sufficient to support the additional dwelling unit, and wastewater betterment charges would apply, providing funding for future infrastructure improvements. The adequacy of the wastewater capacity is determined in part from the change from 3 to 4 units, as the town's design and construction standards consider 3-unit buildings to fall under the category of single-unit homes, whereas 4 units fall under multi-units. Based on those categories, single units are judged at a standard of 3.35 people per unit, whereas multi-unit dwellings are judged at 2.25 people per unit. As such, the proposal of a 4-unit building calculated in lower estimated total population, therefore no anticipated increase in strain on the wastewater capacity. Should a 5th unit be proposed, funds from the wastewater betterment charge would be used to offset the marginal increase in the flows. A public participation meeting was scheduled on June 17th. There was 1 registrant for the meeting. However, they were simply interested in the process and had no questions or concerns about the proposal. As such, is staff's recommendation that council give second and final consideration of the proposed map amendments regarding the redesignation and the rezoning of 132. Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Connor. Questions of the planner from council? Is it second reading? We kind of went through this already. No? Okay. I don't know if there's any, is the applicant here to make a presentation? If you have any comments,
yeah, sure. I'm Kunal, and I moved to Bridgewater in 2023. I lived in a very tiny unit on King Street, 91 King Street. And from that, I got an idea that this could be a possibility for the unit I own now, and here we are.
Great.
And that's my presentation.
That's like it's short and sweet. I like
Yeah.
that. I don't know if council has any questions. No? Okay. Great. Thank you. I don't know if there's members of the public that wish to. Yeah, Frank, come on down.
I'm curious to know what effect the rezoning might have on property values when the several hundred homes were designated from R1 to R2 a year or so ago. I contacted several realtors and asked, do you think that might have an effect on the property values in the area going from R1 to R2? All of them said yes, to some extent. So if we get an R5 property in the area, what effect might that have that on adjacent properties? Just a question, because I'm sure people are going to be looking at their assessment next year and deciding whether they want to appeal the assessment. Something to think about.
Yeah, I don't know how it would just
No,
changing
there's a
it
direct
from an R1 to an R2 wouldn't affect the assessment unless work is done on a neighboring property that then drives the assessment.
Unless the suggestion is it lowers assessment.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if it's as simple as making that correlation between going from an R2 to an R1.
I can speak to that very briefly. I'm certainly not an assessor by any means, but I really the PVSC Property Value Services Corporation does an annual assessment of properties every year. They're informed of any permits coming in, so any additional units, any changes to the existing dwelling, any backyard suites, any a pool goes up. Really, they're informed of everything, and they make those assessment valuations based on any permits incoming. Now, whether those are increased or decreased by a rezoning, as they wouldn't really be informed of the rezoning, to my knowledge, but they may be impacted if there's development on those properties. Now, I can't speak to whether they go up or down with the addition of a unit, because really there's more rental potential there. There's a lot of factors that take into account. So I think it's a larger question than I can answer tonight, but it is something to be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to track this, but at the end of the day, if no one's changing their property, the change from R1 to R2 or R2 to R3 shouldn't just arbitrarily change the value of homes if there's been nothing touched at those homes.
And I will say one other thing. A lot of the homes in the area were pre-1975 homes, and so they did already have some of these allowances. This unit already had this dwelling already had 3 units there, so it already was considered a multi-unit from our planning perspective. So.
Yeah.
Well, something we'll keep an eye on there, Frank. Anyone else wish to?
The addition? The addition's planned to be in the backyard as a separate small accessory building, like a small shed, but in the form of a dwelling.
Mr. George, do you wish to come down and?
I have a simple question. I think I asked in the past, but because I'm dealing with Connor on a daily basis, so I lost track. By the way, one of the great staff in the town of Bridgewater. He's one of the great people to deal with. Because I had been through something similar on King Street, 1233 King Street. I was looking at the report, and since I'm here, I thought I may ask. So when you change the zoning from R2 to R5, is the downstream water capacity assessment required?
A downstream capacity assessment is still required. In this case, it would be for the addition of a single dwelling unit. Your case was a slightly different process, and I'm happy to talk about that outside. But this was it would be the same as a single unit dwelling going on a vacant property. There would need to be a downstream assessment. Actually, in this case, in this case, there was no downstream assessment because there was an existing lateral, similar to your property as well. Through this, the IM6 policy had to be assessed, so make sure there is wastewater capacity and a condition assessment to ensure that the size of lateral was sufficient to accommodate 4 units. But there was no downstream assessment required for this because there was an existing lateral. So if there was a new lateral requested, or if the lateral was insufficiently sized to accommodate the 4th unit, then a downstream assessment would have been required. But for this process, there was not.
In this case, we're just adding 1 unit. Yours was adding 12.
This was a rezone. It's not apples to apples.
Yeah.
But I'm just asking about the rezoning process requirement. That's exactly my question. So the rezoning requirement process regardless what I was proposing at that time. This is behind us now, but I just found it because that was the turning point for 1233 King Street, is that report was required or not required? So I just found out that this one here is not required.
Yeah, it's not the same type of project though,
Same process.
but it's not the same project.
Okay.
Yeah,
A
I'm
rezoning,
sorry, I don't have my report in front of me.
yeah.
not all rezonings are the same. Do you know what I mean? Like the steps for the process, some of them may
I
look the
believe
same.
we did. I'm sorry. I may have misspoke there. I believe we did do a downstream assessment to ensure that there was capacity downstream of the unit, excuse me, to the nearest pump station, which there was in that sewer shed, and therefore, it was for one single unit, and so it was a fairly straight shot. It was there was capacity in that sewer shed to allow one single unit, whereas in your case there was potentially more units being introduced, so we needed to assess for that. So there was a downstream capacity done. I apologize for misspeaking.
No
that.
problem at all.
But it was slightly different because the unit counts were much different in that case. Through both processes, the IM6, which would also take into account the wastewater plant, was triggered as well. Happy to speak further about this outside. But
No, I just want to ask that question. Thank you so much.
got to be fair across the board.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no other questions from council or other questions from council, no, then I will, we will adjourn I will close the public hearing. We will return back to open session and I will be looking for a decision from council. Councilor Newell, thank you.
I move that town council for the town of Bridgewater conduct a second and final reading of bylaw 242, a bylaw for concurrent amendments to the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw to redesignate the property at 130 Dominion Street from the low density residential designation to the medium density residential designation, and concurrently rezone the property from the 2-unit residential R2 zone to the medium density residential R5 zone pursuant to section 205 and 206 of the Municipal Government Act as contained in Appendix A of document number 26-07A dated August 10th, 2026.
Thank you. Seconded by Deputy Mayor McDonald. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. We have the minutes of July 13th, regular council meeting, and August 4th, special council meeting that was virtual. Any errors or omissions with those? Hearing none, looking for motion to approve those. Deputy Mayor?
I move the town council for the town of Bridgewater approve the minutes of the July 13th, 2026 regular and the August 4th, 2026 special virtual council meetings as circulated, not amended.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Wynot. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. We're down to to business arising, unfinished business, 10.1, energized Bridgewater agreements.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Pleased to finally bring to you the agreements that will enable us to move with the new Energized Together navigation service with Modal. So there's 3 agreements that are being brought forward tonight. It's the agreement between the town of Bridgewater and the municipality of the District of Lunenburg. It's the agreement between our 2 municipalities and Efficiency One and our 2 municipalities and Clean Foundation. So there's 3 agreements, and I will just quickly run through some of the highlights. And these 3 agreements will form, in addition to the financial framework that was approved by council in March for the $410,000 that we obtained from Smart Cities to use for funding the additional services for the 2 municipalities. These 3 agreements will enable that to happen. So the first agreement between Modal and TOB really establishes that navigation system between the 2 municipalities and makes MODL the lead municipality on that service. And it's started already in April, but it will go into effect once these are signed and will expire at 2028. And that's the same term for all 3 agreements. Agreement number 2 is between Efficiency One and the 2 municipalities. And that really allows the improved coordination and consistent program delivery across to the 2 partners. And the outcome is to enable that with Efficiency One. And then Agreement 3 is the agreement between the Clean Foundation and enables us to manage the money with the 2 municipalities in Clean Foundation and disperse those funds for the upgrades themselves. we've been successful in obtaining grant money for both the physical upgrades for that capital infrastructure for residents, as well as the town of Bridgewater's funding for the operational costs for the next 2 years. And the agreements are there. So the three options available to council tonight. And I should just mention that there are some final negotiations on some of the clauses in one of the agreements on liability and insurance. We think it's manageable to get there, but it is still an outstanding issue. So we're looking to for authorization to get the CEO to execute these three agreements based on a non-substantive change to the contract based on that one issue. Option 2 is to defer the consideration of the agreements pending provision of further information, or 3 is decline in entering into the regional navigation service agreement.
Questions of the deputy CAO? Deputy Mayor?
Just to clarify, so the funds from the town of Bridgewater are from grants and from the Smart Cities funds?
Yes,
It's not from the tax base?
that's correct.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like national, provincial taxpayers. That's gives us a little bit more comfort in pooling those. It's a great question though, and worth pointing out. So the $410,000 that we secured is being now reallocated more regionally, which again, great question. So it comes from like the federal coffers. So it's kind of everybody's money. But it's, I will point out that we could have continued to just use this internally for our residents and felt that it made the most sense to use that regionally. So that's not nothing. So no, thanks for asking that question. Other questions? Really, really hard questions for the deputy CAO.
That was as hard as I could muster
Oh,
up, sorry.
And I just want to point out that Sujata has done a lot of this coordination and has done a really great job. She's the last person left in the original Energized Bridgewater team. So without her, none of this stuff would have happened.
that's probably why there's not a lot of questions, Sujata. You did such a great job in the report. Councillor Newell.
The 125,000 that we're committing to the project was the remaining money more like 500 some thousand, and then it's like of the original federal money, and then the 125 is coming for that, or
That's all out of the Smart Cities funding.
yeah, sorry,
right?
the Smart Cities funding money.
Yeah.
But I guess, or is it coming from the 410? That
No,
one
that's in addition to.
In
Oh,
addition.
yeah, but it's there was like 500 some thousand. is
Yeah.
what it was. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I assumed.
Okay, other questions? Someone prepared to make one, Councillor Newell? It's like a race over here.
I move that Town Council for the Town of Bridgewater authorize the CAO to execute the following agreements between Town of Bridgewater, Municipality of the District of Lunenburg, Town of Bridgewater, Municipality of the District of Lunenburg, and Efficiency One, and Town of Bridgewater, Municipality of the District of Lunenburg, and Clean Nova Scotia Foundation, subject to legal review.
Seconded by, sorry, Deputy Mayor McDonald. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. We're down to 10.2, Generations Active Park Design and Consultation Update.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I just wanted to give you an update on the Generations Active Park, the splash pad technical memo that our consultant was to have provided. So just for some background, following the RFP process, Council awarded the design build to Ridgemark and Glen Group. The design build process was chosen as it can be beneficial, can expedite services. It brings designers, contractors in from the get-go. You try to get this done, save a little time and money in the process. Since the award, the project team has advanced both the technical review and the public engagement process through multiple rounds of staff review and consultant revisions. We have a much clearer understanding of the infrastructure requirements and costs associated with the various splash pad servicing options. A key finding we noted was with their submission, they were proposing a flow-through system that was going to directly discharge into the watercourse, the drainage area, downgrade. That was fine. Their proposal was compliant. It met our budget. All these good things, and it was the chosen project or the chosen proponent, and but it didn't account for the dechlorination that would need to take place, the added stormwater management necessary on site. And so that's why it took a little longer to bring this forward. And one of those requirements, when they're factored in with the capital costs associated with flow through versus recirculation, those differences in costs are now they're very much in line. 53 to 103 for flow through versus 52 basically to 77,000 for recirculation. One thing we noted was with the recirculation, the annual operating costs were actually a little bit cheaper, in large part due to the water consumption of the flow through system being so high. 20,000 to 50,000 gallons a day, the equivalent of 180 to 460 odd people versus 2 people per day, the recirculation system. So after finally having that all together, we're seeking direction on whether to proceed with the proposed park vision and absorb these costs as added to the $1.155 million budget that we have, or revisit the scope of the project and identify potential savings to balance out those costs as a value engineering approach is what they call it. The options we have before council are option 1, direct staff to proceed with the flow-through system and authorize the estimated additional costs of $53,000 to $103,000 required for dechlorination and stormwater management infrastructure. Option 2, direct staff to proceed with the recirculating system and authorize the estimated additional costs of $52,500 to $77,500 required for treatment, mechanical, and electrical infrastructure. Or option 3, staff's recommendation, direct staff to incorporate a recirculating system into the splash pad design and refer any decision on splash pad construction funding and implementation to the December budget deliberations for next fiscal year. And staff will continue to work with the consultants to refine the design, minimize costs, and keep the project within budget. Further, now that the public feedback, public consultations have all taken place, staff will return to council with a summary of the feedback received and provide a recommendation on the overall playground and splash pad features and amenities.
Great, exciting. Questions for Jonathan, Deputy Mayor?
I'm sorry if this was in there and I missed it. It just come to mind. Did you at this stage get any information about how long splash pad equipment typically lasts?
15 to 20 years.
15 to 20 years, and usually like a 3-4 month per year use?
I mean, weather pending.
Right.
Yeah. I would say err on the side of caution, 4 to 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still a pretty big
With these
investment.
warmer drought seasons.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
temperatures are rising, extending those.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, to me, if we're going to have a splash pad, the difference in water usage, it makes no sense to just, what'd you say, up to 400 and the equivalent of 450 people
180 to 460
versus the equivalent of 2
versus
people with the recirculating.
two.
Yeah. And I think there's probably just for the public's benefit, because when you're like talking about dechlorination, there's probably people just shaking their head going, well, hang on a second, I wash my car in my driveway and I don't dechlorinate that. We don't, there's
Not the
different
equivalent of-
rules for us, right?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
we can't just discharge
Regulatorial, likewise, we can't direct
20,000 liters of water.
potable water with
Yeah.
chlorine residuals into water courses.
Yeah, so we have environmental rules that we have to adhere to and things like that. So again, I think council was smart enough from the get-go and talked about the water needing to be recirculated as the director of engineering reminded us that there's wastewater capacity concerns and stormwater and stuff like that. So I don't think this memo comes as a surprise, but looking for some direction from council. Councilor, why not?
I move that town council for the town of Bridgewater direct staff to incorporate a recirculating system into the splash pad design and refer any decision on splash pad construction, funding, and implementation to the December 2026 budget deliberations for the 2027-2028 fiscal year.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Bashir. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. I thought Councilor Newell was going to ask if dogs could go to the splash pad, because I was having this thought
if they're
about
on a leash.
if they're on a leash,
If they're on a
right?
leash,
Because that was going to be, we were going to have a whole discussion about dogs on a leash at the splash pad. But what a cool idea to have a tie, designated tie.
I will
throughout
say
the
it
week.
is.
Be right there.
Right there.
I will say this: my German Shepherd loves it when I spray the hose. She's like here for it.
There you
So
go.
Maybe actually, if we build this thing, you might see me there, but on a leash. On a leash.
You're gonna be on the.
Who's going to be on the leash?
Yeah.
Who's walking?
All right. Let's get back to business here, folks.
We're gonna unpack this. No, okay. New business appointment of a fire inspector. We're gonna have to circle back to that one.
The town of Bridgewater is partners in a regional inspection service agreement with the District of Lunenburg, the Region of Queens, and just those two for building and fire inspection and dangerous and unsightly administration. The Fire Safety Act requires that when there is a new fire inspector, that council does the appointment. And the dangerous and unsightly premises bylaw also requires that there be an appointment of the chief building official or delegate as an administrator. There is a new fire inspector who the District of Lunenburg has hired, as they've had a vacancy in their fire inspection. And so the recommendation is that this individual, whose name is Nicole Callback, be appointed by council as fire inspector, and that have an effective date of July 6, 2026, because that's when she started doing fire inspections. And that she also be appointed as the administrator for dangerous and unsightly policy matters as well. So we also have some other staff that are appointed as administrators for dangerous and unsightly, but this would add to that roster as well. And that have an effective date of July 6, 2026.
Okay, questions? Otherwise, I'm looking for motion of council for this. Yes or no?
I move that town council of the town of Bridgewater, pursuant to section 19(1)(b) of the Fire Safety Act, confirm the appointment of Nicole Callback as fire inspector effective July 6, 2026, and further that pursuant to section 2(1) of the town of Bridgewater's policy 82, dangerous and unsightly premises, confirm the appointment of Nicole Callback as administrator for the dangerous and unsightly policy effective July 6, 2026.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Frazier. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. We're going to go down to CAO procurement awards for the first quarter. It sounds like you're giving out prizes. I guess it kind of
Don't say
were.
that too loudly.
They were kind of like prizes. We won something.
Kinda.
Yeah.
We're going to get an angry email later.
So these are as per council's procurement policy, which does authorize the CAO, myself, to award tenders or proposal calls or procurement with a value of up to 250. Previously, it used to be 50,000. So when the policy was changed to give that additional authority to expedite procurement, the policy also required that on a quarterly basis that there be a report on those activities, procurement activities that were in amounts that exceeded that 50,000. So attached is to the agenda is a report that outlines those items and the contract value and any notes that may be of interest.
Any questions on the items that were there? No? Is someone prepared to make the motion? Deputy Mayor?
Move that town council for the town of Bridgewater accept the report of the CAO procurement award approvals for the period of April 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Bergier. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Down to tender 2603E, Dufferin Street upgrades, York to exhibition. This is a big one.
Rarity for me, yeah, back right up. Yes, thank you. Tonight, staff are seeking council's direction regarding the award of tender 26-03E for the Dufferin Street Upgrades project between York Street and Exhibition Drive. This project is a significant infrastructure renewal initiative. It includes replacement of aging water, separation of wastewater and stormwater systems, and road reconstruction. Tender closed on July 16th, 2026, with 3 compliant bids. After review, staff determined that Dexter Construction Company Limited submitted the lowest compliant bid at $8,662,533.74 net HST. The project remains within the town's overall long-term capital funding strategy. However, to fully fund the project and include an appropriate construction contingency, staff are requesting pre-budget approval of $71,000 $459.18 net HST within the 27-28 Dufferin Street pavement renewal project, and $2.27 million net HST within the 27-28 sanitary and stormwater infrastructure project. These were being allocated with staff, but we just hadn't got pre-budget approval for this. So we have been tracking this. It is actually substantially lower than we were expecting these costs to be. So it is ultimately a pretty big win. Yes. This project supports
Where were we expecting them to be?
yeah. This project supports council's priorities for infrastructure renewal, public safety, accessibility, and climate resilience. It's also supported through the Disaster Mitigation and Adaptation Fund, making timely delivery important to maintain public project schedules and funding commitments. Staff, we haven't identified any technical, financial, or contractual concerns with Dexter's submission and are recommending that council award the tender and approve the requested future funding allocations.
Thank you. Questions from council? So it's phase 1 and phase 2.
Yep.
The question that people are going to ask is,
Yes.
road closure will be from.
Yeah. Well, phase 1 was initially going to be York to roughly Walnut. Given the remainder of the construction season this year versus next year, it's, seems likely that it'll be kind of like how we started St. Philip Street. And getting out of the intersection with Baker and Victoria Road, get through there and then continue up the hill for phase 2, largely consisting of the majority of the project.
Okay. So closed a little bit this construction season.
Yes.
Reopening for the winter.
Yes.
And then closed
Yeah.
again for probably most of the summer.
Schedule would be yet to be determined. I can't remember actually when I believe our date by completion was December 2027. So
Yeah.
they technically have that long. Of course, anytime they can if they can wrap up sooner before the exhibition, we'll say, that would be amazing. But yeah, no guarantees for sure.
Yep. Okay. Just we'll let people have lots of lead time on road closure, so it'll be nice and smooth when we're done, and it will help us build more houses. And
Yes. Yeah.
this is all good news. You can't have this work done without closing the street. So, other questions from anyone on council? If not, looking for Councilor Newell. Yeah.
I will say I always appreciate when you say $8 million is under like is the lowest bid. I'm like, oh, good. Okay, love that. I move that Town Council for the Town of Bridgewater award tender 26-03E Dufferin Street upgrades, York Street to Exhibition Drive to Dexter Construction Company Limited in the amount of $8,662,533.74 net HST, or $9,508,543.92 full HST, subject to approval by the Public Service Commission. 2, provide pre-budget approval for an additional $71,459,018 net HST, or $78,438.11 full HST, within the town's 2027-28 Dufferin Street pavement renewal project to fully fund the remainder of the pavement renewal component, including a 10% contingency for construction. And 3, provide pre-budget approval for an additional $2,227,000 net HST, or $2,491,695.31 full HST, within the town's 2027-28 sanitary and stormwater project to fully fund the remainder of the sanitary and stormwater component of the project, including a 10% contingency for construction.
Perfect. Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Wynot. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Where are we? 11.4 designated community fund project for the LCMPCC, or otherwise known as the Lunenburg County Multipurpose Corporation.
Yeah, so this is essentially asking that council, per that policy, approve adding the Lunenburg County Multipurpose Center Corporation, or the LCLC, as an eligible project under that fund. And the intent is to enable them to receive donations and issue receipts, because they do not have their charitable status. And as the Director of Finance reports notes, that they want to start some like a sponsor receipt program, and this will enable them to take those donations and issue receipts for that. And they have a time frame, I think, that goes to 2031. for that program.
Any questions from council? Looking for some direction on this. Councilor Bashir.
Yes, I'll make a motion, Your Worship. I move that town council for the town of Bridgewater, in accordance with policy 97, designated community fund, accept the DCF application submitted by the Lunenburg County Multipurpose Center Corporation as per document 26-112.
Thank you. And seconded by Councilor Newell. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Our next item is the July report for the Lunenburg County Senior Safety Program. I do just want to note that they're already planning for a Senior Safety Academy to be held at the Bridgewater Fire Hall on Thursday afternoons from September 24th to October 29th. Some more details will come out, but these are usually really well attended and quite valuable. So again, that'll be a Senior Safety Academy starting September 24th on Thursday afternoons at the Bridgewater Fire Hall. And this is where I usually tell the public that all the documents that we have are available online on the town's website under council and agendas, and you can click the links and see all of this. Exactly all the documents that we have are the same documents that are available on the town's website. Down to tender 26-04E, supply of articulating municipal tractor or sidewalk plow. And I can't help but do this with my chair when I hear articulating tractor, because that's how it kind of goes down the sidewalk.
Good evening. So staff are here to seek council's approval to replace one of the town's aging sidewalk plows. Easier for me to say that than the longer term. Just important to note that the sidewalk plows, which we commonly refer to, they do more than winter maintenance. They're year-round used assets for snow clearing, sidewalk sweeping, flail mowing, milling operations, flower watering, and construction cleanup and other activities, just so you know, they're not just a one-time thing in the winter. So this unit that we're looking to replace, unit 64, is a 1999 model. So it's past the 20-year rule of thumb for the asset age. It is one of the 5 units that we have in for sidewalk plow fleet. 15 tender packages were issued with 2 compliant submissions received, which were evaluated, and Saunders Equipment Limited achieved the highest overall score at 94.67 points. We are recommending the complete equipment package be purchased, which includes the automatic greasing system, replacement filter kit, deep reduction transfer case, the boom flail mower. We currently have one, but they are an item that sees a lot of wear and tear given what their operation is in our open ditches in some areas. So having a spare ready to go, and which would be new to our, I guess, inventory or fleet, which would be the icebreaker attachment, which was in last year's budget, but we did have to cut it. So it is recommended this year. With that recommendation, we will be over budget, approximately by $17,987. But we are recommending the full equipment purchase with the over expenditure or the overage being coming from the undesignated operating reserve. Council does have the option to exclude one of the provisional items. Staff would suggest, if there was one, the icebreaker again. But considering this is the second year in a row and that it could be very valuable during winter, we are recommending its purchase. So just in closing, we are recommending that Unit 64 that has reached its end of life be replaced. And we're recommending the award of tender 26-04E to Saunders Equipment Limited and funding the budget overage from the undesignated operating reserve.
Thank you. Questions from council? Deputy Mayor?
Just out of curiosity, does the icebreaker actually break ice on the sidewalk, or does it make clearing snow more efficient when there's icy conditions, like breaking through the ice cap on the snow?
So the main function when it was actually we had a bad icy winter the first time, so it was recommended there for any ice conditions that would happen on the sidewalks, but also if we were on, knock on wood, ever to have a water main break and create icy conditions on the road, it would help with that as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Other questions from council? If not, I am looking for some direction. Councilor Frazier?
Yes, I'll make a motion. I move that town council for the Town of Bridgewater award tender 26-04E for the supply and delivery of a new articulating municipal tractor, sidewalk plow, including the specified provisional attachments and apparatuses, less the trade-in allowance to Saunders Equipment Limited in the amount of $325,435 plus HST, which is $337,987.02 net HST. Staff further recommend that the budget overage of $17,987.02 net HST be funded from the undesignated operating reserve.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Conklin. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Down to facade improvement program for 517 King and also 7 Duffer.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I split this up into two. I don't know if we're gonna. I'm here to present firstly the facade improvement program application for the property of 517 King Street. The application is to request funding for the installation of an automated door opener for the business, Balsam Care. In alignment with Policy 96, the facade improvement policy, eligible upgrades may include accessibility improvements. The total cost of improvements was $3,300. Therefore, the applicant is requesting $1,650 in grant funding. The work has already been completed and receipts have been provided along with the application. Approval of the application will reduce the funds by $1,650, leaving a total of $350 for other potential applicants for the 26-27 year. It is staff's recommendation that council approve the facade improvement application for 517.
Questions? Really hard questions. We'll get one of these days. Okay. Looking for a motion on 517 King. Councillor Newell, thank you.
I move the town council for the town of Bridgewater provide a grant in the amount of $1,650 to improve the to improve and beautify public facades located at civic address 517 King Street, occupied by Balsam Care, as per the facade improvement stream within the facade improvement program.
Seconded by Councillor Wynot. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried.
Following up on the previous application, I'm presenting 2 additional facade program applications under the new business stream. These are our first 2 applications under our new business stream since the policy was recently amended. This is also for 517 King Street as well as 7 Dufferin Street. Under the newly created new business stream, business owners who have taken control of a commercial space within the last 12 months through lease or ownership are eligible for up to $500 in grant funding with no cost share required. Eligible upgrades would include signage for businesses on the property. The first new business stream application is again from Balsam Care, who have requested $500 for the installation and construction of their new business signage, a single flat fixed 2-foot by 5-foot sign. The total cost of the signage was $510. Therefore, they would be requesting $500. The second new business stream application is from the business owners of 902 Fryland, who have requested the total signage and installation costs for 2 signs, totaling $455. One being a flat fixed wall sign on Dufferin Street, the other a projecting wall sign on King Street. With the previous motion, approval of these 2 applications would bring the budget to $395 remaining for potential applicants in the 26-27 fiscal year. Staff's recommendation that these 2 applications are passed by council.
Thank you. Questions for Connor? Oh, yep.
No,
okay, yes.
Sorry.
Please, Councillor Wynot. Thank you.
I thought I was going to get
Connor's like over here. I move that town council for the town of Bridgewater provide grants to improve and beautify public facades located at civic address 517 King Street and 7 Dufferin Street as per the new business stream within the facade improvement program as follows. $500 for 517 King Street and $455 for 7 Dufferin Street.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Newell. All those in favor? Those opposed, motion is carried. Thank you.
You all.
Down to 11.9, unbudgeted expense for the HVAC system at police station.
Good evening again. I appreciate your indulgence on this matter. It was a last minute submission, so appreciate Tammy or the CAO reviewing it in an expedited manner. Staff are seeking council approval to address an ongoing HVAC issue at the Bridgewater Police Station. Over the past 4 summers, and maybe even actually longer, the system has experienced reoccurring breakdowns, cooling outages, and water leaks. And there's been our most recent failure occurring during a period of elevated temperatures, causing health and safety issues for staff. The investigation by both the town's HVAC contractor as well as the equipment manufacturer have identified excessive heat buildup within the cupola, the top of the building, that contributing to the recurring failures. So we have been looking at we have completed some temporary measures trying to improve the exhaust or the ventilation. While they've made some improvement, it really hasn't solved the underlying issue. So the Bridgewater Police has also completing monthly inspections or coordinated themselves with our HVAC contractor to make sure that we're getting as much out of the current unit as we can until a permanent solution is in place. So after talking with the facilities supervisor, we're proposing a 3-phased approach. The immediate cooling solution, which is if for the remainder of the year, if the current unit fails, then we look to go to portable units. That's if they are available, of course, because we're right in the middle of a heating season or cooling season. Sorry. Then the next phase would be an interim modification. So taking the cupola off to see if we can get improve the ventilation around the existing unit, if it doesn't fail. And the last phase of that for this fiscal year is given that there has been 4 years of this issue happening. We're looking to retain some professional advice on the design of a new system that would be considered. So with the design completed this year, that would consider in the 27-28 budget. So in order to complete the 3-phase approach this fiscal year, we are recommended $120,000 net HST to be funded from the 25-26 police service surplus, with a long-term HVAC replacement project to be brought forth in the 27-28 capital budget process. Certainly, the biggest factor we have here is what's driving this is the health and safety of the police force. Happy to answer any questions.
When does the lease expire? 2032?
2032.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you can't have people working in the heat like that, especially with the gear that they wear. So I understand the health and safety issue. I'm glad the recommendation is not to pre-approve any long-term solutions there because we don't own that building. And I'll just right out of the gate, not interested in spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to improve a building that we not likely will continue using when the lease is up, although we haven't made that decision yet. But I don't feel like improving someone else's building for them to improve the resale value later. But right now we have an immediate issue, and we can't have first responders not you're working in conditions. They already work in poor conditions with what they have to deal with every day. So going back to the office and then having that to deal with is not acceptable. So, but that's my very long-winded way of saying I don't know how we're going to deal with the other issue, the long-term fix, because to me this is a building deficiency from the get-go, and it should have been dealt with by the person who built the building. And so we can have that conversation with the owner of the building, especially where there's not a long time left on the lease of that building. I don't see, if we're looking at a $300,000-$400,000 repair down the road, it'd be a really uphill battle for someone to convince me that that's a good investment.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate. So I mean, as staff, we were discussing what potential long-term would cost. So there was another option or similar another setup that we priced out between 150 to 175,000, give or take. But that option or layout's not feasible, so we have to go to what we think is a different, which may cost more, may cost less. But I guess for staff at this point, and given how long this issue is prolonged, I would like to have at least a third party look at it and say, you know, what's a practical professional solution, rather than trying to just, I guess, knee-jerk reaction of trying to solve it right now. And it may not, it just may compound it.
That makes sense. Other questions from council? Looking for some direction. Councillor Newell, thank you.
Another long motion.
Yeah, I know you love them.
Sorry.
he loves the long motion.
I don't hate them. I will agree to that. I move that town council of the town of Bridgewater approve an unbudgeted expense of up to $20,000 net HST to implement an immediate cooling solution for the Bridgewater Police Service facility, recognizing equipment availability may be limited due to seasonal demand. 2, approve an unbudgeted expenditure of up to $80,000 net HST for the purpose of an interim cupola modification, including reinstatement of the cupola roof prior to the winter season, subject to property owner approval. 3, approve the unbudgeted expenditure of up to $20,000 net HST for professional engineering services to review, validate, design, and tender a permanent HVAC solution, and direct staff to include the project for consideration during the town's 2027-2028 capital budget deliberations. And 4, approve the unbudgeted funding of these expenditures totaling $120,000 at HST from the 2025-26 police service surplus to support the immediate cooling solution, interim cupola modification, and professional engineering services associated with a permanent HVAC solution.
Seconded by Councillor Bashir. Further discussion? All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Next item is our discussion session notes from July 6th. So in there we discussed bylaw enforcement review. And I don't know, I think when people think bylaw, they just think the parking meters, but bylaw is we have dozens and dozens of bylaws. So it's looking at all of the bylaws, including dogs on leash. Default setting is on leash, not off leash. Anyway, for dogs. And so that's what council discussed on July 6th there. So those notes are on there. And our last item is land negotiations. Working with South Shore Transition House Association, which is the land negotiations are ongoing. So this will come back to council for more information.
That's correct. So it's the details of the negotiations are still considered to be in camera until both parties agree to the terms. But it is for the sale of land on York Street to South Shore Transition Housing Association, approximately 550 square meters of land.
Okay. Looking for a motion from council. Councilor, why not?
I move that town council for the town of Bridgewater direct the CAO to enter into an agreement for purchase and sale for a portion of PID number 6002328 with South Shore Transition Housing Association, subject to the conditions as discussed in camera.
Thank you. And seconded by Councilor Frazier. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. All right. That is the end of our meeting. Our next meeting is the 8th of Tuesday, the 8th.
7th is a holiday.
7th is a holiday, right? So Tuesday, the 8th will be our discussion session. So that is it for August, except we have a special council meeting a virtual council meeting on the 24th. Which is my wife's birthday, so I will remember that date. And I will tell you, no, don't ask me how old she is. Your birthday as well?
Yeah, don't get the gifts mixed up.
Okay, sorry.
Well, he forgot mine.
I gotta adjourn this meeting before I say something. All right, motion to adjourn, please. Councillor Newell, seconded by future birthday boy, Councillor Conklin. We are adjourned. Thank you. Have a great rest of your summer, folks.